Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Blood and Guts Day. It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. And I got to tell you, tonight was a pretty wild ending to AEW Dynamite, but that was expected given that it was blood and guts here tonight. I cannot wait to talk about that here today. There's a lot we got to go into, but before we get started, before we talk about everything happening on today's show, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys so much for being in here, for joining the stream as always, and just being very, very supportive of the show. Just to give you guys a heads up, for those of you who are new here, this is a very interactive show. Please take part in the chat. I will be pulling up some of your comments. On top of that, if you want to make sure your question, statement, or comment gets read on this stream, and you also want to help support the show, you are more than welcome to send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, I will make sure to read whatever it is you put on your super chat, and it also helps support me and keep me funded on this show. So we got so much to get into. We are going to go ahead and recap everything in a nice chronological format, and then get to Blood and Guts, which takes up the final hour of the show. So we only got a couple of items to talk about ahead of Blood and Guts, the match itself. So we do got plenty to get into here today. Also, really quickly, just a heads up, everybody, if you haven't already and made your way over to my YouTube channel at some point, make sure you guys do so. YouTube.com/Denise Salcedo. I posted all of the AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Forbidden Door Scrum videos up on my channel, and they're doing pretty damn well, especially the Jay White one. Please go check those out, guys. At some point, just give them some love. For those of you who do not know, I do fund myself on all of these trips. So basically, whatever money I make back from YouTube is, whether or not I break even or profit off of these shows. So please make sure to go give those some love on YouTube. On top of that, tomorrow morning on my channel, I will be dropping a pretty damn good interview that I did with Rocky Romero. For those of you who do not know, Rocky Romero is essentially the person between Tony Khan and Godot, who was kind of the person that was, making the phone calls, making sure that, AEW was happy, that New Japan Pro Wrestling was happy. And he basically gave me a lot of information and a lot of details surrounding how AEW and New Japan worked together to put on Forbidden Door, how they dealt with the injuries, how they dealt with, everything that surrounds the pay-per-view that a lot of people were saying was cursed. And also he talks about Forbidden Door too, and gives some interesting information about that and so much more. That's going to be dropping on my channel tomorrow. But now let's go ahead and jump into AEW Dynamite. Let's see what we got. We actually have our first super chat of the day, and this is from Nick Grasso. So I'll start off reading Nick Grasso's super chat. He says, hold on one second. He says, crazy blood and guts match. Could have done without all the commercials. With the way the match ended, I can see a feud between BBC and Eddie Kingston with his crew, and I think Moxley stays neutral. So they definitely did tease some conflict during the blood and guts match, and we'll talk about that in just a sec. Well, when we get to the actual match, in terms of the commercials, we knew that they were going to be there because AEW never announced that they weren't going to have commercials. The commercials, I feel, because I expected them, I didn't feel like they hurt so much. I know they did the picture-in-picture, but I don't watch the picture-in-picture, but I didn't think it took too much away from the blood and guts match, more so because I had already expected it. It was already in my mind that these commercials were going to be part of this. And I felt like the match was so long. Like I said, it pretty much encompassed the entire final hour of the show. So because the match was so long and we did get a couple of commercials, I didn't hate it because those moments where we were getting TV time and we were getting to see the match, they did so much during those moments that when they did get to the commercial, I didn't feel like the commercial took from it. So it didn't hurt me as much, I would say, as maybe some other times where we've talked about, the commercials hurting certain matches, etc. We've had this conversation with other matches in the past, but I didn't really feel that strongly about it for this particular blood and guts match. But if you did, I don't blame you, because at the end of the day, commercials do take you out of things regardless, right? It gets you out of the zone. But Nick Grosso, thank you so much for getting us started with our first super chat of the day. So let's go ahead and start off the show. Let's kick things off with the opening match, which was Ethan Page versus Orange Cassidy. Now, here's the thing that I want to start off by talking about in regards to this match. So Orange Cassidy, recently came back to AEW. He was out for a bit, etc. And, he was the guy that was announced to be in the match with Will Ospreay heading into Forbidden Door. And there was a lot of criticism online about about Orange Cassidy being that guy to be put in this match with Will Ospreay, because there was a lot of, people were like, you could have put somebody else, blah, 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 blah. And so there was a lot of that. And I remember coming on here and kind of defending that match and the match announcement when we were talking about it. And, I stated my reasons, most of them being, Orange Cassidy is a popular guy. He can work a very, very fun style that I know is going to mesh well with Will Ospreay. And then when the match itself happened, it ended up being what many argued match of the night. So heading into this match with Ethan Page, and I think the fact that it opened up the show, I thought was very good. And the reason I say that is because, again, Orange Cassidy was one of the guys that was, coming out of Forbidden Door. He was one of the guys that was being talked about a lot, again, because of his match with Will Ospreay and how good that turned out. So in this match, in this opening match, he's one of the, the first guys you see, and he got a massive reaction. Now, Orange Cassidy, for the most part, has always gotten good reactions from the AEW crowd. He's always been a fan favorite, but I feel that today, the reaction for Orange Cassidy felt a little bit more extra. Like, I felt that people were like, fuck yeah, it's this guy, it's Orange Cassidy. Like, we love this guy. And he just kicked ass at Forbidden Door. So I really feel like he kind of came out today and just got a very, very positive reaction. And so I was very happy for him. Like, I felt happy for him, guys, because I think about it this way, and I'm like, everybody goes on social media, everybody sees what people are saying about you. And, there was a lot of doubt, a lot of people saying that, Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay wouldn't have a good match at AEW for AEW New Japan's Forbidden Door. And, again, ended up being match of the night. And as I mentioned earlier, I did that interview with Rocky Romero, and he actually gave me some insight into this match with Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay. He basically told me that, there was some hesitation on the part of Orange Cassidy where he did kind of feel for a second, and I'm paraphrasing what Rocky Romero said, by the way. I'll put it out in verbatim afterwards once I clip that out tomorrow. But he pretty much said that, Orange Cassidy kind of questioned even himself being put in that match after hearing what people on social media were saying. Like, he himself kind of questioned, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be the one in this match. And Tony Khan and Rocky Romero were like, nah, dude, you're going to be in this match. Like, we believe in you, that sort of thing. And so, again, to kind of see him go out there, have that great match, and then, get that reaction from the crowd here today in this match against Ethan Page, I thought was great. Now, for the match itself, this was fun. This was a fun match, a pretty solid little match between Ethan Page and Orange Cassidy. But I want to talk about pretty much the finish. I want to talk about the finish. Also, shout out to that really awesome spinning DDT from Orange Cassidy, because that was pretty good, especially when he went for the pin and it ended up being a near fall. That also got a really good reaction from the crowd. But there was this moment where Dan Lambert was just yelling, finish this guy. He looks like he's 12 years old. Dan Lambert is a jerk. A lot of people don't like him. There's times where, there's times where I appreciate Dan Lambert because, he gets that heat. And then there's other times where I'm like, all right, now he's got go away heat with me, right? Really depends on the week and what he's saying. I actually thought this was kind of funny. So this kind of worked for me. But let's talk about the finish. So it was pretty creative. I really liked it. So we had Dan Lambert get on the rope and on the apron, excuse me. And he starts to distract Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy gets in his face, and Dan Lambert has orange juice. So Orange Cassidy takes it away from Dan Lambert, and during this moment, we end up seeing Ethan Page try and go and hit Orange Cassidy, but instead Orange Cassidy moves out of the way, and that's how he's able to body slam Ethan Page and get the actual win in this match. But then afterwards, he actually missed Dan Lambert, and I freaking loved the orange juice miss spot that he did. I thought it was very fun, and it was good stuff there. So he ends up getting the win in this match, and it was a proper way to go about it because, again, this man had a banger at Forbidden Door, and you reward that. Keep his winning, keep it going, man. Like, it would have really sucked if today he would have lost via distraction because of an orange juice. And that didn't happen. Instead, they teased it, and they actually had Orange Cassidy get the win here, which was just smart. Keep the wins coming for a guy who had a really good showcase at Forbidden Door. So that was good stuff there. We got some super chats in here. Thank you guys so much. Let's pull these up here and see what people are saying. This is from Manuel Cifuentes. Thank you so much to Manuel, who says, holy shit word, Denise. What an improvement from last year's. I did not see that crash pad and was getting Kyle O'Reilly 98 vibes when they were climbing up #AEW. So, the last blood and guts match that we had when Jericho was thrown off the cage by MJF into that pad, it was one of those things that was very, very highly critiqued and criticized amongst fans and viewers watching because, there was a lot of arguments. I remember covering this blood and guts match on here and talking about it on social media and all of that stuff. And I remember that the vibe for the last one was very, very 50-50. Like, some people really loved it and some people really hated it. And some people were like in between, but that Chris Jericho moment where he landed on the crash pad, that was something that, people were like, oh, this really like ruined it for me, that sort of thing. And so AEW, obviously, going into this match, was going to be very aware of the criticisms from the last blood and guts match. So I knew for a fact we weren't going to get anything wonky like that during the blood and guts match. And I was even curious too. I'm like, is Jericho going to take another, brutal, fall off the cage? Is this going to happen again for Chris Jericho? Because for a long time they teased it. I wasn't expecting it to be Sammy Guevara. Jericho was the one up there on the top of the cage with Eddie Kingston for a very long time. So anyways, I think this was AEW sort of wronging righting their wrongs, wronging their rights. I forget how the saying goes, but you get what I'm saying. Thank you so much to Manuel Cifuentes for getting this super chat in. We actually have another one from DJ Cap T Mystery, who says, the best was when he got to spray juice at Lambert. Completely agree with you. That juice spot was absolutely phenomenal. I thought it was very funny. Thank you so much to DJ Cap T Mystery for sending in this super chat as well. Let me get some more comments in here, some non-super chat comments, and see what people thought about this one here. This is from Layton, who says it was a good showing for Ospreay for people who had only seen his AEW appearances too. Yeah, I know there's probably a lot of people that are like, wait, what? But there are a lot of people that had not seen Will Ospreay just yet. And I know this because I was reading a lot of those comments ahead of this, in the last couple of weeks where people were saying that they were new to Will Ospreay, etc. So, sometimes I think we feel that everybody knows everybody, but there were a lot of viewers that were not familiar yet with his work. So that's kind of what Layden brought up here as well. Let's see what else we got. We got a couple more comments here and see what people are saying. This is from Nick A, who says, if Dan Lambert has any showmanship after taking the orange mist, he'll show up in sunglasses and a denim jacket. Good stuff there. We got Dave Goldberg, who says he can work. He's just not a fan of the comedy stuff with Orange Cassidy. So again, it depends on who. Like, here's the thing, though. I get that some people don't like the comedy aspect of Orange Cassidy, but I personally feel like it hasn't, for me at least, taken away from his matches. Like, it hasn't taken away from his matches. If that was the case, then we wouldn't be out here, raving about this match with Will Ospreay. I feel like for the most part, I know that sometimes once you've seen it a couple of times, like, you know the gist of Orange Cassidy, but I still kind of feel like it works. We got Doppelganger 399 who says Orange has always been entertaining, but again, it depends. It depends how people feel about all of this stuff. All right, let's get some more comments in here and see what people are saying in regards to this match here. We got more people putting over the ending and basically saying that it was good stuff there too. Yeah, I completely agree. All right, so let's go ahead and move on from here. So let's get into, actually, we got another comment here. This one's from DJ Cap as well, who says the Orange Mist was a nice callback to his indie spot. He'd do this in his matches. So, and more people defending the comedy as well. So, you know what? You like what you like, everybody. You like what you like. All right, so let's get into the Christian Cage promo. So last week we were out here. At least I know that I freaking loved last week's Christian Cage promo. And if you guys watched the show last week, you guys know that. So I'm not gonna run down what I said last week, but it was still good shit though. It was good shit, especially I know it's messed up, but the freaking line about his dad, let's be real. Everybody was like, everybody had the gasp. I don't know how to react. Pull out the meme where like you have one side of the book, this is good shit, and then the other side of the book where you're like, ooh, that was savage. A little torn there, but it's pro wrestling, and we're moving on from that. Anyways, not really moving on from that, because today Tony Schiavone interviews Christian Cage, and basically the whole thing is that there was this part where Tony Schiavone tells Christian Cage, like, I don't know what more you can say. You already said it all last week. And he kind of did. I was thinking the exact same thing as Tony Schiavone. I'm like, what is there left for Christian Cage to say? He already pulled out all of the heel spots last week. So anyway, so here we go. Christian Cage starts off by saying that he was asked by upper management to apologize for the comments that he said about Jungle Boy, more so the comments that he said about his father. So then afterwards, Christian Cage basically says, I'm not apologizing for anything. Like, I'm not going to apologize. I've never apologized, and I'm not gonna. And then he says, quote, you know what? He basically says that he is sorry, but then he says, quote, I'm sorry, your entire family isn't dead. And they had to witness me and you in that ring 2 weeks ago on Dynamite. Actually, let me clarify. Everybody in your family except your mom, Jungle Boy. Mic freaking drop, guys. Christian Cage, in this little, 2-sentence statement, basically said that he wished all of his family was dead except his mom, because he's been throwing, kind of inappropriate remarks at his mother, right? He's been doing the your mom stuff and, flirting with your mom type of stuff. This was absolutely savage, but I freaking love this heel Christian Cage. Love it. We've seen him do it in the past, and it's freaking great. And so I was a fan of this, guys. I didn't think that he could come out and say anything more shocking than what he did last week, but I think this one worked with kind of doubling down on the dead statement and that sort of thing. Then here's what I really want to talk about, because we now have a new version of Luchasaurus. In fact, we have the evil Luchasaurus, the green dinosaur mask gone. It's now black. It's now a black version of the mask. I think the horns are a little bit bigger. I think, don't take my word for that. I would have to see the pictures side by side, but they looked a little bit bigger. So the evil Luchasaurus comes out, and he's got this, the flames and this music. And I don't know if you guys I don't know how many of you guys kind of felt this way, but I kind of like the theme song and the flames. I know this is nobody's favorite person, so let's just talk about the actual character really quickly. But it kind of got Kane vibes with the flames and the music and the kind of the sound of it. More so like the presentation of the flames and the song. Not Luchasaurus himself though. Not Luchasaurus himself. Not the evil Luchasaurus. But it did kind of pop into my mind really quickly. But anyway, so he comes out and he just looks freaking badass. There was a great visual where he comes out and he looks all freaking scary, and then Christian Cage is looking at him like, yes, this is my demon, my monster. You come out and do my dirty work. And so he ends up having a match with Serpentico. Poor Serpentico. I mean, this is literally he's terrified. It's a quick squash match, and he hits him with the it's a squash match, but then afterwards, after he actually defeats Serpentico, the beating does not end there. Afterwards, he's on the outside, and then he chokeslams him onto the mat on the outside. So this was great. I was a huge fan of this. I'm very excited for Evil Luchasaurus. Like, I'm on board. This is gonna be good. Taylor Cannon sends in a super chat saying, let me pull it up 1 second. There it is. She says, Christian is such a good heel. I can't wait to see what happens when Jungle Boy returns and they feud. Completely agree. I think this is going to be good, especially with the added layer of Luchasaurus, being that former BFF to Jungle Boy. And, they used to come out and we used to all, dance and sing, and we were so happy. And oh my God, we all love, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. And now Christian Cage has taken him away from Jungle Boy and is now using him as a pawn in all of this. And it's working. But I freaking love it. I feel like it just adds so much more depth to the storyline, where it could have just been like Christian Cage turning on Jungle Boy, right? And then Luchasaurus being like that guy behind, Jungle Boy, and essentially being his, his right-hand man, his friend, right? But I think having Luchasaurus with Christian Cage and the evil version of Luchasaurus just adds so much more to the story. So I'm really glad that they went about it that direction. So anyways, thank you so much to Taylor Cannon for sending in this super chat here today. All right, so let's go ahead and move on from here. And let's see what we got here. This is from Hulk Hogan, #1 fan, who says Christian is a tremendous heel. We got D Kamai 06, who says setting up a great story that Jungle Boy has to fight Luchasaurus first, turning him back, and then gets his fight against Christian. That's a comment from D Kamai 06. This is from Happiness Bunny, who says Christian getting that nuclear heat that every heel works their whole career for. Hey man, you can get it. Like, marvel in it, marvel in it. So anyways, that was good stuff all about here. This is from R. Riggs, who says, let's see what we got. R. Riggs says, this is what I was hoping for when Christian was signed. This is why I wanted him to be the mystery person, despite everyone else being unhappy. Yeah, I get you, man. This is from Andrew, who says it's interesting to see Christian behind a heel Luchasaurus. Hopefully they can build this up in an interesting way while Jungle Boy is recovering from injury. Well, from the looks of it, it's going pretty damn good, guys. We got a really funny comment. This is from Sal P, who says he's not Luchasaurus anymore. He's Lucha Oscuro. You know what, Sal P? You win best comment of the day for today. I really like that, actually. We got a lot of people basically putting over this new version of Luchasaurus. Once again, guys, once we continue on, just a friendly reminder, if you want to help support this podcast, help support the show, and make sure that your question, comment, or statement gets read on the stream, you are more than welcome to send in a super chat. But now, let's go ahead and move on, because we got a backstage announcement for finally the match that we have all been waiting for, and this is Wardlow versus Scorpio Sky. So this is going to be happening next week, finally, for the TNT Championship, and it is going to be in a street fight. Love it, love it, love it. Ready for some goddamn gold for Wardlow. It is happening. Very, very ready for that. Moving on from here, we got a quick match between Max Caster and the Ass Boys versus Danhausen and his surprise teammates of FTR. I thought the announcement of how Danhausen announced that he was going to be having FTR team with him was really cute, because he basically said, like, I found a pretty good tag team, like, they're good, right? And he brings out FTR. I thought that was pretty nice, and I don't think very many of us were expecting to see Danhausen team up with FTR, who has been just on another level, and they're more of the serious type of fellas. We had Max Caster do his rap that he normally does. One of the lines that he used that I thought was kind of funny, he said, quote, Danhausen is a lightweight. How you gonna cheer a white guy doing whiteface? I thought that was funny. All right, moving on from here, moving on into the match itself. They had some pretty damn good moments during this. Dax Harwood landing all of those, like, shots to the face of like both members of the Gun Club, actually. Them doing both FTR members doing double suplexes on the Gun Club 3 times. I thought that was good. Dax essentially continuing all of the suplexes in the ring even afterwards. I thought that was awesome. Danhausen tries to go for the GTS. I thought that was pretty funny. And then we ended up getting Anthony Bowens, who was, in a wheelchair. He comes out and he looks like he's all fine and dandy now. He comes out and he walks over and he tries to hit Danhausen with the crutch. He tries to hit him, but instead he ends up getting one of the Gun Club guys, and Danhausen ends up getting the win for his team. So this was fun. I liked this. This was like pretty harmless, silly stuff to me, in my opinion. All right, let's go ahead and get some good stuff here and see what people are saying. Dave Goldberg says Max's line about water was funny too. I didn't get the last part that he said, because I know he said, embarrass my bros again. We're going to make you drink all the tap water from something. I didn't get the joke, so I was a little bit out of the loop for that one, guys. Oops. My bad. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and continue on from here and see what people are saying in regards to this. This is from Andrew, who says, solid, fun match. The tease of Guns versus the Acclaimed at the end makes me excited for the Acclaimed to get a nice little feud on TV. And they're good stuff, man. It's all good stuff. Colin. That's funny. All right, let's go ahead and move on from here. After this, we got Jade Cargill versus Layla Gray for the TBS Championship. This was pretty much a squash match. Jade Cargill gets the win. Afterwards, she gets on the microphone and she starts saying how she's tired of the fans and she's tired of the women, basically like, moaning and complaining about her being champion, etc. And then she tells Stokely to get her better opponents, to get her better competition. So then afterwards, Athena comes out, and Chris Statlander comes out. They do the run and they go at it with Jade and Kiera. And afterwards, Layla Gray, she gets involved and she sides with Jade Cargill and Kiera. But then she did so at the basically, because Stokely wanted them to, help her out, right? To help them out. But it doesn't seem like Jade Cargill wanted Layla to essentially, help them out. Like she doesn't want her to be aligned or associated with her and the baddies from the looks of it here. That's the vibe that I got here. So she didn't seem happy about this whatsoever. All right. Now, before we move on, guys, because we got a couple more things to discuss here today, let's go ahead and let's take a moment here to put over our amazing sponsors, Wrestle Rumble, guys. I love Wrestle Rumble. They're freaking awesome, and they're awesome because they sponsored this show. So really quickly, guys, if you are into like placing bets, answering prop questions while you're watching a pay-per-view, if you want to add a little extra layer of fun into your pay-per-view watching routine, you can head on over to WrestleRumble.com. You can purchase an entry to enter the Money in the Bank Pick'em contest. So how this works is you purchase an entry, you get a form with a bunch of questions, and you answer them. And whoever gets the most points, whoever gets the most right, ends up, getting some prizes. If you get fourth place, whoever gets fourth place will end up getting 10 mystery Hasbro figures. If you're a toy lover, I'd get on board on that. Third place will take home $100. Second place will take home $300. And first place will take home $500. Now, I don't know about you, but I can definitely use $500. Also, one of my viewers who entered for the Double or Nothing Pick'em contest, he won $1,000 for that one. So there's a real opportunity for you to actually take home some cold, hard cash by entering over at WrestleRumble.com. Now, for those of you who are like, well, what kind of questions, Denise? Like, what do they even ask? Can I even go in there and enter? Would I do a good job? Well, let me give you a couple of samples as to some of the prop questions that are asked during this. Some of the prop questions include, will the Ronda Rousey Natalia match end in a pinfall or submission? Will Seth Rollins be put through a table? Will the Carmella versus Bianca Belair match go over or under 13 minutes? Sounds simple enough, right? Head on over to WrestleRumble.com and enter the Money in the Bank Pick'em contest. The cutoff time to enter will be on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So that is right before the pay-per-view starts. So as long as you go into Money in the Bank, to WrestleRumble.com and enter the Money in the Bank Pick'em contest right before the pay-per-view, then you are in. You are in. You're good to go. Now, tomorrow, I will be doing 5 free entries on Twitter. As you guys know, I've been doing these a bunch on my account. I will be giving away 5 free entries. But if you don't want to, wait to see if luck is on your side, if you want to make sure that you guys enter right away because you don't want to miss out on the fun, head on over to WrestleRumble.com. Thank you once again to our sponsors. Alrighty now, so let's go ahead and return here and get back into the groove of things here today. All right. Once again, guys, if you want to get your question, comment, or statement read on the show, you are more than welcome to send in a super chat. Not only do you get your voice heard here, but you also help me out and keep me funded. F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of the proceeds after YouTube takes their cut. And trust me, they take their fair share. But either way, the rest stays with moi. All right, moving on from here. Let's get into some of the matches that were announced for AEW Rampage this Friday. We got some pretty good stuff lined up. First and foremost, we got the Young Bucks taking on Yoshihashi and Hiroki Godot. That was announced today during a backstage segment, which was pretty cool. We're also going to be getting Nyla Rose versus Toni Storm. And then we're also going to be getting Royal Rampage. So the winner of the Royal Rampage will be receiving the first shot at Jon Moxley for the interim AEW World Championship. So I don't know who's going to win this. I don't know why we're not necessarily going totally by the rankings. I don't know. But this is totally happening on Friday. So it should be a good time. I'm excited to see the Royal Rampage. But now we're going to go ahead and before I get into the Blood and Guts match, we got a super chat here from DJ Cap T Mystery. Thank you so much. Who says, I wish they would have played the song Danhausen made for Gun Club, Billy Ass and the Ass Boys. They did play it on pay-per-view. Now, I'll tell you something. While I was there, live in the crowd, I didn't know what was happening. It was like a totally different experience being there and like what you guys saw on TV. When I was there, I was like, what's happening? Who's playing? It wasn't totally clear what was going on during that. So I feel like I couldn't enjoy it as much as I probably would have if I was watching on TV. But regardless, it was still pretty funny. Thank you so much for sending in this super chat. I thank you very, very much. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into the Blood and Guts match. There is kind of a lot to talk about. I don't want to recap every little move or thing that was done in this match. So I do kind of want to talk about some of the larger moments, maybe some of the standouts of what actually occurred in this match and go from there. So the match started off with Sammy and Claudio. Unfortunately, we kind of started off with a botch at the beginning, so it did kind of take away from like the peak moment, the start of this match. Took away from it for a little second, but obviously they bounced back and got in the groove of all of this here. We saw some pretty good stuff right off the bat. I really liked the pretty much every single uppercut that Claudio gave today. Every uppercut that he gave was freaking phenomenal. There was one that he gave to Sammy right at the beginning. There was another one that he gave to it's somewhere here in my notes. I'll find it. He gave another one. I think it was to Daniel Garcia. Yes, it was to Daniel Garcia because Daniel Garcia somehow ended up in the air and then he comes down and meets the uppercut. I mean, it was brutal. There were some good ones in there here today. From here, I also want to say that I did like that they started off the match with Claudio in it, like him starting off the match. I thought that was good, considering the fact that, he was the big surprise over at Forbidden Door. It's like, okay, fine, have him keep going, running from that momentum that he got at Forbidden Door, have that keep going. And also, I feel like it gave him more of an opportunity to really have time to stand out. There's a bunch of guys in this match. He was in there, he was working, he was doing his shit, getting it in, and I feel like he got a lot of time to be like, hey, I'm Claudio, I'm here in AEW, etc. He really got a lot of moments to shine is what I'm trying to get at here. So I did think it was a good idea to have him there. So now let's go ahead and continue on some of the other things that I want to make sure I point out. Wheeler Yuta. I want to point out Wheeler Yuta because I thought he was one of the guys early on in the match that really stood out to me because there was some stuff probably in like the first half of the match that I kind of didn't totally love. I thought the first half of the match could have been a little bit stronger, but that's kind of, what we see that happen. Obviously, once all of the guys are in, that's really when the match really unfolds and takes on a new life, right? But I did think that there were some moments that could have been a little bit stronger, a little bit more better in the first portion of this match. But regardless, I want to put over Wheeler Yuta because I did think he had some really awesome moments, like when he was doing all the suplexes on Daniel Garcia. I really liked that. There was some other stuff that he did, and I'm forgetting here. Oh yeah, he did a drop kick off the top rope, and I really liked how that looked. I think he did it to Jake Hager. Yes, he did it to Jake Hager, and that popped me for some reason. It looked great. Once we got Jon Moxley in here, I really liked when he came in here because he was the one that brought in the fork. He kind of brought in the more of the violence into blood and guts. And right away he was like stabbing Garcia in the face with the fork. I thought that was freaking awesome. On top of that, when Parker came in from the Jericho Appreciation Society, I kind of liked the little comedy bit that they did. It didn't take too much away from the match, but he came in and basically starts running away from like all the other guys. I thought that was pretty funny. Ortiz coming into the match, he freaking looked great because he comes in, with the shaved head after he lost, his hair. He comes in with the shaved head. He comes in with the makeup and everything. I mean, the man looks like a madman. So I really liked the presentation of Ortiz, especially in a match like this, because one of the things that I forgot to talk about in the beginning is that when Jericho Appreciation Society came out, they came out with these like Magic Mike outfits, the red, and they're kind of looking like they're kind of looking like a boy band / strippers. So they were a little bit of both worlds there. But either way, so they came out with those very, very funky, spunky looks. And, the Blackpool Combat Club and, Kingston and Yuda and all those guys, they came, Santana and Ortiz and all of them, they came out kind of looking like guys that are literally going to kill you. Like they came out not, dressed super cutesy. No, they came out and dressed like men that were going to kick your ass. Like that was two totally different presentations of the teams. And I freaking love that because, Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society, they're doing the whole sports entertainers bit. So clearly they're going to come in and like jazz it up. So anyways, I was trying to get to the point that I really liked the presentation of that. Also, let's go ahead and continue on because there's so much to talk about here. Santana bringing in the barbed wire bat. Unfortunately, from the looks of it, Santana did get hurt in this match. I don't know if any new details have come out because I haven't seen anything since before I started the stream. So if there's any updates as of right now, I haven't seen it. But I know that later on in the match, he was taken out and he was helped out of the match. So I really hope that Santana, I really hope that he's okay. Moxley, there was a moment where he, once he got like really, really freaking bloody, he had like this, for a second, I just saw this like flesh colored thing in blood. And I thought, no effing way. Like for a split second, I legitimately thought that was like a piece of Jon Moxley's skin. And I was like, that can't be right. And I think it was commentary who pointed out that it's his Band-Aid. But for a whole couple of seconds, I was like, what the hell is that? It really kind of looked like his flesh colored skin. Anyways, there were some things that the cameras missed that I would have liked to have more focus and more emphasis on. There was a slap fest in the middle of the ring, and it was kind of one of those things where we saw it towards like the back. Like there wasn't like a major focal point on the slap fest. I can't even tell you who was in it. I think it was Daniel Garcia and somebody else. You can see it happening, but I really wish that they would have put a little bit more focus on that. There was also, I know that they were waiting for that Ty Conti bit where, she handed Jericho the alcohol. And it was kind of obvious because they kept showing Ty Conti, when she was really not doing much with Sammy Guevara, she was kind of just standing there, like, I guess, being a sweet girlfriend. I don't know. I didn't like that because they panned to her too many times. And I'm not saying I didn't like that portion. It was more so that I didn't like the timing of it, because there was twice at least that I counted where they kept panning to Ty and Sammy doing nothing really. And there was action in the ring that we were missing. And I know it because I could hear it happening. So I did I noticed that was like the one nitpicky thing that I did not like. But that was more of like a production thing there. Let's see what else we got from here that I want to talk about. Eddie Kingston coming into this match with the kendo stick. This was freaking funny as hell because he came in and he was just like boom, 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 smacking guys, not even looking at them, and just smacking the hell out of them with the kendo stick. So I thought that was a really funny visual. Ty Conti eventually passes that rubbing alcohol to Chris Jericho. There was a missed boot by Claudio that was super obvious. I didn't really like that, especially because they kind of sold it, as commentary sold the boot, and I didn't like that because it was very obvious that it was missed on the cage. Afterwards, we do see Ortiz and Kingston put Jake Hager through a table. I thought that was a good spot. Yuda bringing out the thumbtacks. We went to a commercial break. We came back from commercial break. We see Jericho freaking dragging Kingston's body on the thumbtacks. That was really good. And then finally, the part where we get up to the top of the cage, the big moment that we have to talk about was Eddie Kingston throwing off Sammy Guevara off of the freaking cage, guys. Now, that was a freaking wow moment because it was so beautifully executed. And dude, respect and kudos to Sammy Guevara because that shit is brutal, man. Like I can't even imagine having to do something like that. But Eddie Kingston throws him off and he just falls. It was a pretty lengthy drop straight into the freaking tables. I gotta tell you, I marked out so hard for this. I rewinded it like 5 times. I watched it like 5 times. I'm not even kidding you. And I was trying to like screenshot pictures, but the fall it happened so fast that it was really hard to get like every single moment. But regardless, I want to put that over because that was a holy shit moment. That's the moment that when you think about this blood and guts match, this is the moment that you're going to remember. This was the big ooh-ah moment. So this was great. It definitely made up for the Jericho one that we saw last time. Bless his heart, bless his cotton socks, that he still did that spot, Jericho, the last time. But this looked a lot better in terms of how it was executed. It looked a lot better. Regardless, that was pretty intense, man. In the end, we saw for the finish, we ended up seeing there was a moment where at this point, we got Claudio Castagnoli's up there. They're on top of the cage. Pretty much like everybody at this point is like climbing up to the cage here. And Claudio gets Jericho who was it? Was Claudio? Was it Kingston? It was Kingston, I think, had Jericho in the walls of Jericho. Then we had Claudio who had Matt Menard, and then Matt Menard was the one that tapped out, and that's how they were eventually able to get the win. So it did get a little confusing because I think there was a couple of errors on the part of commentary. But regardless, we ended up seeing the Blackpool Combat Club get the win in this match. So they did a lot in this blood and guts match that I think will make it a very, I asked people to rate it on Twitter on a scale of 1 to 10. If I were to rate it myself, I feel like I would give it a 7. I would give it a 7 because there were some lulls that I kind of thought were a little bit boring, but then they did so much that, and especially that Sammy Guevara spot, like that match, that spot by itself is like 100 points, right? It's 100 on a scale of 1 to 10. It's 100. But in terms of they did a lot, but I just think a lot of the low moments in the beginning kind of took me out of some portions of the match. And it wasn't until kind of the very end where I really started to get seriously invested, seeing Eddie Kingston bite Chris Jericho's head at the top of the blood and guts cage. That was freaking great too. Just the visual of one man biting another man in this fight on the rooftop. And also Jericho taking the big swing from Cesaro on the rooftop. That was freaking great too. So there were a lot of moments that I feel like a 7. Now that I'm recapping and thinking about it this more, I'm bumping it up to an 8. I'm bumping it up to an 8, everybody, as I started thinking about it a little bit more. But regardless, I think that this Blood and Guts was, it felt, and maybe this is like recency bias, but it felt better than the first one, mainly because I only remember the first one so much. But let's see what you guys are saying. Let's get some thoughts in here. We got a super chat from Mary Lou. Thank you so much to Mary Lou for the very generous super chat. Mary Lou says, glad to see you doing the replay. Good luck on your wedding. Thank you so much, Mary Lou. I really appreciate this very generous super chat. And thank you very much. Seriously. Taylor Cannon sends in a super chat saying, Blood and Guts was great. Kind of surprised we didn't see a heel turn, although I feel like Kingston was pissed at the end and wanted to toss Claudio off the stage. Thank you for reminding me, because I needed to talk about that as well. So in regards to this here, we had some beef towards the end between Claudio and Eddie Kingston, where Eddie Kingston kind of felt like this guy kind of stole his victory, especially because in the end, we were seeing Claudio, running around the cage, and he's celebrating and he's having a grand old time. And Eddie Kingston's just sitting there like superbly irritated and pissed off. And I like this. I like this because he should be. He's the one who threw the man off the cage. Like, he's the one who threw him off and then had that very sadistic happiness smile to him. So I feel like Eddie Kingston might have felt like he was robbed of that big, cherry on top moment from Claudio. And so I kind of like that beef was, teased there. And even afterwards, they weren't really like seen eye to eye in terms of like the celebration and all of that. But thank you so much to Taylor Cannon for also bringing this up here. We also got another super chat from Derek. Didn't send in a comment, but thank you so much actually, he did send up a follow-up comment. Derek put, I would have loved to see BCC, Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz would have come out in the dead president face paint. That I don't know what that means, though. You might have to explain that one to me afterwards. So I would say yay or nay, but I don't think I totally get it. All right, let's continue on from here. We got another super chat. This one is from Christopher S. Thank you so much to Christopher, who says, that was almost everything. Kendo stick, chairs, table skewers, fork, tacks, a regular bat, barbed wire bat, glass crash pad fall, finisher on top. Yeah, it had a lot of everything. That's why I feel like, even though, like I said, there were those like moments that I kind of felt like I wasn't as interested, because they did do so much, like so many of those moments were sprinkled in this like almost 1 hour match. I feel like that that makes me look at this and say, you know what, this was good because of those, few moments that were in that match. So anyways, Christopher, I think you're totally right on this with all of these. Can you imagine the shopping list for that? Can you imagine? Seriously, kendo stick, check. Chairs, check. Tacks. And you forgot did you put the chopsticks in here too? Yeah, there was also the chopsticks as well. Are they skewers? I don't even know anymore. I thought they were chopsticks. My bad. We got Derek, who sends in another super chat saying that, he basically said the dead president face paint. Thank you so much, Derek, for resending the super chat. I appreciate it. All right, moving on from here. Let me make sure I'm all caught up, and then I'll pull up some more here. Actually, we got another super chat. This one is from Sheldon Jackson, who says, I preferred this Blood and Guts compared to last year. Hope Eddie is okay, because I saw him saying his back is hurt and couldn't get up. I didn't notice that. I did not notice that, but thank you for pointing that out. There was more people. DJ Captain Master also says, but more than that, Eddie's back was jacked up, which is why he couldn't stand up. I didn't catch that. Oh, shit. Okay, thank you for pointing that out here. I appreciate you guys pointing this out as well. And let's go ahead and see any more here. MCaspito64 says, Denise, Tony Khan said at the scrum he needed to talk to you. Are you doing Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor? Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some background information on this. So Tony Khan did say that in the media scrum, but I'm not sure if he meant like, oh, Denise, I need to talk to you, like specifically you, or if he meant like, oh, thank you for bringing this up. This is the time where I'm going to reveal this information that, hey, we're doing the show, and I'm going to reveal it to you right now in the media scrum. So anyways, I was arguing about this with Will Washington because I really wasn't sure. Like, I wasn't really sure what that meant, right? So me and Will Washington were arguing about this afterwards. He was like, Denise, this is what it meant. And I was like, are you sure about that, Will? And then you brought it up right now, and it kind of brought me up. But I don't know. I don't know what that meant really, but I have made moves to find out. That's pretty much all I can say. I got no other information. No other information. But let's go ahead and get some more of this stuff. Derek, I appreciate you, man. He says, I'm old. I don't know the super chat stuff. Dude, no, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Let's get this comment from Michael, who says, feel bad for Santana. I feel like him and Ortiz have not been given their due in AEW. Super talented team, but they haven't gotten the chance to show it. They've been in the shadows. I feel like I've probably have had this conversation like 100 times on these shows. They've been in the shadows, in the shadows of the inner circle. They're kind of in the shadows right now. In terms of like the work rate stuff, the stuff that they were doing on Impact Wrestling was on another level. They're not getting that exact same platform here on AEW, but regardless, they're still, in these big matches. They've been in both Blood and Guts, etc. They've had some great moments, right? I'm not saying they haven't had great moments, but I think they just had, in terms of like matches of the year, like that sort of stuff, you saw that more during their Impact Wrestling run is kind of what I'm trying to get at here. All right, so let's go ahead and get some more comments here. Let me see what people are saying about this. And let me make sure I didn't get any more comments. Guys, if I missed your comments, please send them in. Because I might have missed a couple of them as I was talking here. So I'm scrolling up and making sure that I got some good ones here. This one is from R. Shackleford, who says, wanted to see more Proud and Powerful. They wanted to get some tag team win. Oh, they need to get some tag team wins on Dynamite. I completely agree with that here. Our rig says 75% for me, too much nothing on the top of the ring, and there was a couple of noticeable botches. Yeah, there were a couple of them here, and sorry guys, we were invaded by the bots, which I'm just seeing right now. All right, let's see what else we got. This is from Colin, who says, Mad King rules. Don't know why they did that. Squeeze the bottle back in the cage with Ty and Jericho when they didn't use it. Maybe the bottle broke. That's what was weird too. I thought I just missed it. I thought, I just missed the actual moment where they used it. Unless we both missed it, but I don't even remember like that really pertaining to everything. But there was just so much happening that, they're bound to miss a couple of things here and there. Cody Santella says, I thought Sammy was landing on his head. I popped. Oh, no. I'm trying to remember the landing. The landing didn't the fall looked terrible. The landing looked like fine. Like I hate saying fine because the man was thrown off the cage. That's probably not the best way to say it. But Whitey says it was a murder. Thank you so much to Mega Geek Mixer for reminding me of this. He says, I like that Ruby intervention. Hope this leads to Ty Conti getting back in the ring. So basically Ty Conti, yes, now I remember. Thank you. So Ty Conti was trying to help, and I think she was trying to open the door or something for Chris Jericho. She was trying to help the Jericho Appreciation Society, just trying to help Jericho specifically during that moment. And Ruby Soho came out and ran after her, and they ended up going at it. And the cameraman got a pretty interesting shot there. I was like, bro, move to the other corner. I'm sure there was people watching that were like, oh yeah, this cameraman rocks. But I was like, bro, move to the other side. So I know some people notice that. But anyways, let's go ahead and see what we got here. This is from 554, who says, there were a lot of great spots in the match. I loved it. It was a graphic, but it really was awesome and fun to watch. Speaking of graphic, was it Jake Hager who was hanging outside of the cage at one point? I couldn't even tell. The man was upside down, bloodied face. I'm like, it's Jake Hager, right? It was Jake Hager, unless it was one of the freaking 2.0 guys that I always forget what they look like besides Matt Menard, but I always forget what Parker looks like. So Parker and Jake Hager were kind of a blur to me. All right, let's see what else we got here. And Jake Larson says, I expected a fireball at some point, not much wizardry tonight. It would have made sense considering that Jericho has been doing that fireball stuff. So maybe it would have made sense for all of this. Thank you. It's Angela Parker. Jesus Christ. He looked just like Jake Hager. When you're upside down and bloody, all I saw was blonde boy with blood face, with his face full of blood. I'm like, oh, it's Jake Hager. And it was Parker. Bless his heart. I couldn't even tell him. Okay, I don't want to say it. It's a blonde boy with blood on his face. God. DJ Cap T Mystery says Jericho did use the alcohol on Mox, I believe. It may have happened during the picture-in-picture. Also, Santana got his knee hurt and was out instantly. Yeah, we talked about that in the beginning, but I did not see the Jericho alcohol part of that. So that may have happened in picture-in-picture. I don't know. Thank you so much to DJ Cap T Mystery for sending that in the beginning. I mean, for sending that out here to clarify this. And then this is from Uriel Lamduros, who says for the shoe repair fund. Thank you very much. That was on, for those of you who do not know what we're talking about, that was yesterday's stream, actually. I was on here with a broken shoe, and yeah, thank you so much to Uriel for sending that. All right, guys. And Christopher S. says, bless Parker's cotton socks. Duke Catastrophe says they're all bloody guys in red pants. Our Rig says, still want to know how Parker got outside the ring upside down. No idea. He has black hair? No, I saw a blonde boy. Man, all these guys are starting to look the same to me. No way, he has blonde hair. What are you guys talking about? We talking about the same person here? All right, I'm done, guys. I'm done. All right, everybody. So unless we get any last minute groundbreaking comments in here, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream. As always, it's a great time to chat with you guys. I've been on here now for, I'm going for almost 2 years at the end of this year. So thank you guys so much. I'm here on Tuesdays to chat about NXT 2.0 for those of you who care. I'm here Wednesdays to talk about AEW Dynamite. It's usually my most popular show of the week. And then Fridays is usually pretty fun. We talk about Smackdown and Rampage. However, this Friday, I will not be here this Friday because I will be in Las Vegas for Money in the Bank. So Friday is going to be, this weekend is going to be a pretty busy one. So I'm arriving to Las Vegas tomorrow, and I pretty much have a laundry list of items that I need to do. Friday is WWE Media Day, so I will be there doing interviews and getting those up as soon as possible on my channel. And then following that, I'm probably going to watch Against All Odds and Rampage on Friday. I think those are the two shows I'm going to be watching. I'll be tweeting about them. I just won't be doing a post show. And then also on Saturday, there's another media day. So I'll be doing that. And then after that, I'll obviously be attending Money in the Bank. And then after Money in the Bank, I will be doing the studio show with Sean over on Fightful. So that's going to be happening on Saturday. And then after that, I'm driving back home to Los Angeles. So it'll be a great time. So it's going to be a very fast-paced weekend with a lot going on. Please, guys, head on over to youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Please go show some love to those Scrum videos. That is how I make my money back on these trips. And on top of that, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.